In this video, you will learn how to create a colorful 3D chrome effect using Illustrator and Photoshop. Welcome to Night Owl Design Academy, where creativity never sleeps. Let's get started. Start off by opening your logo or text in Adobe Illustrator. For this tutorial, I am using the Playboy logo. Select your logo or your text and change the color to 8B, 8B, 8B. Now go over to 3D and Materials. If you have trouble finding it, go to Window, 3D and Materials. Under the Object tab, select Inflate. Change the depth to 380. And change perspective to 55 degrees. Now select Materials. Change Roughness to 0 and Metallic to 0.5. Now select the Lighting tab and change the intensity to 150. Rotation should be -122. Height should be 68. Softness should be 40 and intensity should be 50. Now go over to your render and make sure ray tracing is turned on, quality is high, and reduce noise is checked. Now go to Edit Copy. Create a new document in Adobe Photoshop. I will be using 5000 by 3000. Change your color mode to RGB. Now go to Edit, Paste, and paste your image as a smart object. Then pop back over to Illustrator and in the Appearance panel, turn off the 3D and copy and paste the flat layer. So change your top layer to flat and your 3D layer to 3D. I will be naming this layer 3D number 1. And select both of your layers and increase the size. Take the flat layer and make it invisible. Then select your 3D number 1 layer and duplicate it. Place this duplicated layer within its own folder and rename it 3D number 2. On the Smart Object layer, double-click this layer and let's start off by adding a bevel and emboss. Change the technique to Chisel Soft. Size will be 14 and Soften will be 3. Change the angle to 122 and the altitude to 48. And under Gloss Contour, change it to the second one in the second row. Change the opacity to 78. And for shadow mode, change the opacity to 50. Now select Contour and change it to the third one in the second row. Now click on Inner Shadow. Change the blend mode to Color Dodge. And the color will be FA, FA, FA. Opacity will be 100%. Distance should be 4. Size should be 15. And change the contour to the last one in the second row. Now click on Inner Glow. Change the blend mode to difference The opacity should be 100%, and the color should be A8, FB, F1. The size should be 4, and contour will be the second to last one in the second row. Now click on Gradient Overlay. Change your angle to 0. Now for our first color stop, change it to E9, A5, A5. For the second color, use B8, C1, C0. For the third color, use 65C, 0E0. For the next color, use AEA 2DB. And for the last color, use 81C 1D9. And click OK. Now change this folder to color burn. Duplicate this folder. I just press Command D on my keyboard and change this to 3D number 3. Change this folder to Color Dodge and remove the inner glow setting. Now we're going to change our layer styles. Double click on Bevel and Emboss. Change the technique to smooth, and the depth will be 834. Change the size to 87, and soften will be 16. Change gloss contour to the second to last one in the second row. Change highlight mode to vivid light, and the color will be F90DF9. Change the shadow mode to pen light. And the color will be 079CFA. And the opacity will be 100%. Now click on Contour, and we're going to keep this one as is. Now click on Inner Shadow, change the blend mode to Hue, and the color will be 07FC63. The angle will be 82, and make sure Use Global Light is unchecked. The distance will be 30,000, and contour will be the very first one in the first row. Now click on Satin, change the blend mode to Vivid Light, and the color will be D14B69. Opacity should be 100%. The angle will be 124. Distance will be 216. Size will be 250. Make sure invert is unchecked. And select the second to last one in the second row for contour. Now click on Gradient Overlay. Change it to Color Burn for the blend mode. And now we're going to change around the color stops. Remove the first color stop. And now for this one, change the color to 787676. For the next color stop, change it to E4E 4E5. For the next color, change it to 8E908E. Now add another color stop here and change it to E2E0E4. And for the last color, change it to 9FA1A2. Change your angle to 27 and the scale will be 61. And make sure reverse is checked. Click OK. Now duplicate this folder again and change this to 3D number 4. Change this folder to hard light. And now we're going to change around some settings again. Let's start off with inner shadow. Change this blend mode to pen light and the color will be FCA 807. The opacity will be 100. The distance will be 69. The size will be 163. Now we're going to add another inner shadow layer. Now on this second layer, change the color to 07FC91. The angle will be -106. The distance will be 93. And everything will be left as is. Now add another inner shadow layer. And on this one, change the color to 9707FC. Change the angle to -41. Distance is 191. And everything should be left as is. Add another inner shadow layer and change this blend mode to vivid light. And the color will be 0741FC. Change your angle to 112. Distance is 259 and size is 163. And then use the second one in the first row for gloss contour. Now click on satin. Change the color to FBC 818. Distance should be 250 and size should be 250. Change the contour to the fourth one in the second row. And then click OK. Now make your flat layer visible and change the fill to 0%. Double click this layer and click on stroke. Change the size to 41. And the color will be 8517EC. And click OK. Now take this flat layer and place it within its own folder and of course rename it. Now on this folder, let's double click it and add a bevel and emboss. Change the technique to chisel soft and the depth will be 100%. The size will be 68 and soften will be 0. Change gloss contour to the second one in the second row. Change highlight to normal and the color will be E0F406. Change shadow mode to darker color. And the color will be FDA-D01. Now click on inner shadow. Change the blend mode to hard mix. and the color will be 05F771. Change the angle to 122, distance is 47, and size is 15. Change the contour to the second one in the first row. Now click on Inner Glow. Change the blend mode to Vivid Light, and the color will be 09F2D5. Change the choke to 8 and the size to 21. Change contour to the first one in the first row. Click on Satin. Change the blend mode to Multiply, and the color will be 042A3C. The opacity will be 95, and the angle will be 90. Change the distance to 12, the size to 19, and for contour, change it to the third one in the second row. Now finish your design up by adding a dark color background, and that is how you create a 3D colorful chrome effect using Photoshop and Illustrator. If you like what you saw, make sure you click that like button and also subscribe. Don't forget to click that bell icon to be notified every time I drop a new video. Thanks for watching.